Okay, yesterday we've made a very brief start on the using the Earth's resources topic, and we looked at what we need and where it comes from. And you can see the list there. Now what we need to look at is something that's a bit more geography than chemistry, sustainable development. So this could be revision for your IGCSE geography, which has yet to be cancelled, but I can't believe it won't be. So sustainable development. One of the key bits of this is looking at finite resources versus renewable resources. So, here's your chance for fame on video. James, what is a finite resource? Yeah, there's a limited amount, so it's going to run out. So, Leah, what's a renewable resource? It's never going to run out. So, can you think of a finite resource, Matthew? Yep, coal and all fossil fuels are finite resources. We're not going to recreate them. Anybody think of a renewable resource? Spencer. Okay, solar power as a source of power. It's renewable.
It's not really renewable because the sun will die.
Yeah, all right. In our universe's lifetime, it's renewable. Anything a bit more that... okay, water, hydroelectric power, yes. What about something you might burn? Wood. Yeah, wood is an example of a renewable resource. It's not the only use for it, obviously, burning it. Now, here is the chemistry definition of sustainable development. It's basically making sure that we're preparing for the future, for future generations, not just ourselves. And what I want you to do is for each of the following, how are they produced in an unsustainable way, and could they be produced in a sustainable way? So I'm just going to click them on, and then in class here, people are going to think about it, and at home you need to do the same. So if we continue to use things in the way we use them at the moment, then that is an unsustainable way. To make things more sustainable, such as metals, we can recycle them. We can produce metals from recycled metal rather than from metal ores. Fuels for transport, we can look at, instead of producing them from fossil fuels, we could look at electric cars, hybrid cars, cars relying on biofuels. There is a van that goes around to all the chip shops in Scarborough, there's a lot, that collects their waste oil and fat and actually goes to make that into biofuels. Electricity generation, we're using fossil fuels, and what we could use are the alternative sources of power that you look at in physics. Please note the difference there between the term reuse, which is just using it again, and recycling means it's made into a different product. Okay, 3 key materials that we recycle are glass, metal and plastic. And what I want you to do before we move on any further is just think about the pros and cons of recycling. What are the advantages and disadvantages of recycling? So the main advantages are you save the Earth's resources, waste doesn't go to landfill, and it takes less energy to recycle than to make from fresh. The main disadvantages are that you have to collect all the recycling materials in one central place for them to be processed, you've then got to separate out, for example, all the different parts of a fridge. There'll be glass in it, plastic in it, metal in it. And finally, public apathy. People cannot be bothered to recycle. One of the main issues is metal here, and that is it corrodes or rusts away. Fewer problems with plastic and glass, but again, you've got issues with separating them out from other materials. Okay, the life cycle assessment of a material is the impact that that product has on the environment throughout its life. So, when it's being made and produced, and when it's being dumped somewhere, or being recycled or burned or whatever. And here are some factors when you're doing an LCA that you need to consider. You need to consider the use and sustainability of any raw materials you use. Is it a finite resource? Is it a non-finite resource? And here you also need to think about the packaging. Okay, over here I've got a whole load of bubble wrap. What came in that bubble wrap? The LCA of that was impacted on by the fact that I ate the chocolate. But the packaging there, what do I do with that? No, it wasn't all chocolate, that huge pile of bubble wrap. Use of energy at all the stages, use of any water. What do we do with waste products? Are there any made? This is a link in with, if you remember, we looked at atom economy. What about transportation costs and distribution costs of the product? So what you are going to do is consider a plastic bag and a paper bag. And that's where we're going to finish today. You thinking about that and completing that table.